Welcome back to Licensed and Unsupervised with
Naomi and Becky.
Wolf.
Yeah, right. And
I
I
was like,
think
oh wait,
for
I
me,
really did it this time.
like upon reflection, I feel like I just was really, really great at being fully masked. Like I'm really great at being able to be performative, which is terrifying.
That's a very funny thing to say.
But it is. Like I didn't okay. There's more context here.
Okay.
So when I opened my salon, I had a partner. Okay. And so a couple things that she would say to me often are like, it's not always about you. And I don't understand why you're acting one way and being different. And you're manipulative. And I never saw any of it until we weren't friends anymore, And then I understood that like I would mask to try to make people happy. So I would constantly like try to morph myself into whatever it was because like I grew up, my brain didn't work like everyone else's, and they're telling me I have to believe all of these things, but it doesn't always make sense to me, and I'm trying to question it, but I'm not allowed to question it. And so it was this weird space of like my ADHD brain telling me everything's my fault, and then like also not understanding that like I'm being performative. I didn't know that I was being performative.
You're just trying to make people happy because you were a kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then once I was no longer in a relationship with her, I was able to then reflect upon my behavior with her. And then once diagnosed ADHD, a lot more came into place. And I was like, I can see her frustration in a lot of those spaces now because I can see that I was being performative unintentionally. I was masking.
Yeah.
But like, and to that point, I think some people are masking in their performances.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like I think sometimes when people are being performative, it's not to try to be cool or to try to achieve anything. It's to try to be what the expectation is of them.
Yeah, and sometimes the expectation is to be cool or to be whatever. So it's just people pleasing at the end of the day. All of it is because that's what we're conditioned to do.
Right. I think I've heard the word performative a lot in the last few weeks even.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there are those that are performative to give a certain baseline. And I think that there are those that are just trying to do their best raw dogging it out here, like, because I mean, really, I was even just watching videos of myself from 10 years ago, just listening to how I'm talking, listening to, I can see my insecurities that I no longer hold on to, and like I've said it before, I probably wouldn't have slowed down had Tyler not gotten cancer.
Yeah.
And through that process, there's a lot of silence in isolation. And what happens in silence other than you are faced with your thoughts? And, I'm also with a therapist during this time and I'm dealing with something super traumatic. So everything's being pulled apart. And so I just learned so much about myself in this whole process.
Yeah.
And I'm not even the same person I was 5 years ago. And I'm proud of that because I think that I've been able to create a better version of myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. When I hear performative, I think of it in the very like social media aspect of you're being performative on social media.
Right.
So
Yeah.
That's what I think of as like people who are on their social media posting about we need to do that, like fuck AI, this, that, but then they're using AI at the same time. It's like, okay, so you're being performative and you're putting across this narrative that you hate this thing, but in reality you're using it. And that's just one example.
Sure.
Not to like start a conversation
I
about
understand.
AI, but
I understand.
like that's
Right.
just,
Sure. Well, and I think that we've talked about this on the podcast before, even about Jordan. Like Jordan Yantos as the founder of the Rainbow Convention.
I never knew her last name.
Well, that's
Now
her
I
last
know.
name. She owns the Mermaid
Hair Lounge?
Hair Lounge.
Yep.
Yes. So this is something she said on stage in the greeting of the Rainbow Convention. And she said that the person you see online is the person that we want you to see. That is curated by this team of people. And that was the first time that anyone has ever admitted that, especially openly like that. And so when she showed up on TikTok a couple of months ago organically and not performatively after saying that, I was impressed because I was like, there had to have been some growth there for her to show up organically after even admitting that she was very, curated.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm my life in some ways is a performance too. You know, every day. Because listen, when I was training to be an educator, somebody that I looked up to so much, Carlton Northern, he told me, stop looking at me like that, y'all.
We just know that he's not alive anymore.
Well, yeah, he is no longer with us. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Yeah, you just looked at me. I'm just reading into things. Yes.
Yes.
Anyways, this is what he said to me. He said that when you are an educator, you are a performer because you need to be able to hold people's attention and deliver your message. If you can't hold somebody's attention, then they're just gonna, go on their phones, fall asleep in class, whatever. So he was right. It's a performance. So when I'm educating, whether that be in real life or whether that be online or wherever it is that I'm doing it, it is a different aspect of my personality that doesn't come out as much really in real life because I'm performing. Even in this podcast, I'm performing. I'm whatever, like to try to hold people's attention. And in real life, I'm not as much of a, I don't know, I guess I'm not as much of like a joke cracker or whatever. I'm very like, I don't know. I feel like I'm a little
Chill.
more laid back.
You are. We
Yeah.
hung out for the first time the other day.
Yeah.
And you were very chill.
I was high.
I was also high.
That's the thing. I get really quiet when I'm high. So
I was
Got
just
it.
going to say, you both were like, I was chill. I was chill. I was high. I was high. That explains it. That'll do it.
Well, if I'm
Yeah, but okay. Depends on what you smoke or
Weed.
smoke or
weed.
not all weed makes you relaxed.
Okay. Well, whatever it was. Yeah, that's true. That's
That
true.
is true.
Some of it makes
Yeah.
Because-
you
So listen, I am not a frequent smoker at all.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
a frequent smoker. It's very like if it's a social situation.
yeah.
Or like, but other than that, like maybe like once a month, generally, maybe less than that even. I don't smoke a lot. I smoked a lot more in my past, and I don't as much anymore. But whatever so when I smoke, like I have stuff that like gives me a little bit more energy.
Yeah.
I also like stuff that is like sweet, like a little flavor to it
Yeah.
too. But whatever she had, my mouth was shut and closed for the rest of the night. I
Yeah.
didn't say a word
That was
really.
the stoner weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was not my typical weed. And I don't know any of the names. What does the sativa do in
We
the
had-
indica? I
yeah.
don't know.
I will teach you a trick that my husband says. Indica means
In the
couch.
couch.
It means you're gonna be. So you probably had some
Yeah.
indica because sativa typically does not do that. But also, I feel like they do so many different things now that
Yeah.
you could have a sativa with something else,
Yeah.
like an additive of a CBD, CBG,
Yeah.
I think I said those too fast. My brain just ran.
I'm
But-
not sure.
That could also cause that too. But the indica for sure will put you in the couch.
I bet that's what it was then. I don't know. There's all these fancy, like there's the different terpenes and
Yeah.
all the different. I don't
Yeah.
know what any of that means. I just knew when I was in high school that was weed and that's what I wanted, and that's what we would put in the brownies. Like like I didn't know anything because that's at the time it was not widely
Okay.
accepted.
Well,
Anyways,
at the time when
Mhm.
I was 18, it was very much illegal still.
yes,
And like go to jail illegal. And
Oh,
I
go
remember
to
being
jail
pulled
illegal.
over one time. Yeah, I got a story. So we got pulled over
No.
one time. And so again, I'm in Shelby Township, right? And I'm in like the only place to go was either Lakeside Mall or downtown Rochester. There was nothing in Shelby. So like Shelby was stupid. You went to Rochester or the mall. So we're going to go to downtown Rochester, and there was a Denny's there open 24 hours where we hung out a lot after we smoked, which is so fun. So we're on Parkdale, which is like a road it's like a little road that goes, and our friend had headlight and taillight covers on. So that's what we got pulled over for, was the taillight covers.
Why did they have